we off we go. Wayne, you're on the spot, dude. So we're gonna
Huh.
start. We're gonna start. Is just that when I first heard of you, I thought you were cool and all, but dude, what made you want to be a promoter?
Well, um, the first thing, I guess, what made me want to be a promoter the most was I was managing a band at the time. I'm sure you guys heard of them, Severance.
Hmm.
I was managing Severance at the time, and we played a couple shows and got treated pretty bad.
Hmm.
And you guys know that. You guys have been in the scene. Back then, you had to have the right promoter to treat you the right way, and get.
Hmm.
So there was some bad promoters out there that didn't want to pay, didn't want to treat you the right way, didn't want to, they just put you where they put you. They didn't set anything up. They didn't say, you're going to be second slot, you're going to be third slot. They just, you show up for the show and you get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Right.
So um, that helped my decision making tremendously.
Okay.
So what I did is I had a discussion with my best friend Mike Smith, and I said, "What do you think about starting up a production company?" Because at the time it was Infectious Records that I was going up against,
Hmm.
because those guys were the big ones that were getting into the theaters, the Bluebird Theater, so on and so forth. And I hadn't even touched that stuff yet. Severance was just being asked to play some of those shows with like Autopsy Commission.
Hmm.
Um, there was some other bands they got asked to play with too, and I can't remember their names right offhand. I have them in my book, which you guys would be surprised to know I've got a book from 2005 and 2006 that'll tell you every show that I did for both of those years.
Hmm.
And it's got, some of them has the numbers of the venue, how we filled up the venue, and
Right.
which ones were comp tickets as opposed to paid tickets. You know, all that stuff was important, and we weren't getting that information, Ty. And so
Right.
we put, we sell out the Bluebird Theater, and we'd get $40.
Right.
And we're like, man, we busted our ass promoting this show. So it's, why are we only making $40 on a show that we know the promoter is making bank on this show?
Hmm. Right.
So that's what basically wanted I started with Big Q Productions.
Right.
um Now it started in 2002, December 2002. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And then
Hmm.
it really ramped up in 2004. 2003 was a learning year for
Hmm.
me. Learning to start communicating with the bands around town, Peace, Love, and
Hmm.
Destruction. The list goes on. I would SOV. I did everything I could to. I don't think I ever still did not get a show with SOV,
Hmm.
and but it's just there, Throat Cold, all these bands that were out there were pushing their names in the scene, and I just didn't know how to communicate with them yet,
Right.
and I had to learn that. So
Right.
2003 was a learning year for me, and I
Right.
think I did somewhere around 25 to 30 shows that year. Then the next
Hmm.
year turned around, 2005 or 2004. I was doing 50 shows a year.
Right.
Sometimes I'd have multiple venues going on at the same time.
Right.
Um, it was quite adventurous, let's put it that
Okay.
way. But it was
Okay.
the best time of my life.
Let's scale this back to Peter Orre, and we all of us remember that corruption, rogue, drudgery, tread show that
Yep.
Ogden had kind of sprung forward to others, and Peter Orre was a big part of it. Remember,
Yep.
in fact, Peter Orre had an interview with Throat Culture magazine, with Rod and Nick were actually the interviewers of Peter, and I
Yeah.
credit Peter, and Bill Terrell for a lot of what was going on, and just
Yeah.
but that
Yeah,
said, Peter Orre had a role in all this. What was Peter
Yeah.
Orre to you?
Well, Peter Orr to
yeah,
me, well, I remember when Peter Orr was just a barback at the Bluebird Theater.
Hmm.
This was before he exploded.
Hmm.
And the dude told me, he says he just started doing little shows at the Bluebird Theater here and there. He wasn't doing anything big at the time. And he says, "So you want to be a promoter, do you?" And I says, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Well, let's drink to that." So we had a drink at the Bluebird Theater. And that was a big point in my life as well, where I had to decide my name, because everybody was calling me Big Q, but nobody thought about Big Q Productions, right? So I would say if anybody gets credit for Big Q Productions, it's going to be Brett from Quick Fix and Peter Orr.
Okay.
Those are the two that helped me decide name the name Big Q Productions.
Okay. So coin that. Okay. All right. Now, one thing I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to say this up front.
Uh-huh.
This the story I'm about to share between Peter Orry and me is not a diss on Bill Terrell whatsoever. But Peter Orry emailed Bill Terrell when he was doing the Infectious Records Whiskey Bills thing, and I was wearing hats and pinkies, that I
Uh-huh.
was interested in booking Adler's Appetite, the Steven Adler band. And I
Mm-hmm.
had no interest. Not only did I have no interest in that whatsoever, two, we were more interested in the tribute band act than Nationals. That to me
Right.
was all Bill's turf. So Bill naturally called me, simply say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing, dude?" And that whole
Right.
thing. I'm like, "This is all false." It all got out. He said, "Sorry, dude," and we all moved on. But dude, someone wanted me dead. That blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that happened quite a bit, Ty, in the industry. I mean,
Really?
and I'm not, one here to talk bad about Bill either, because Bill has overcame so much.
Oh yeah.
He is a great dude. I've seen him at his lowest lows, and I've seen him at his highest highs.
Hmm.
And I don't want to take anything away from Bill. I think that there was another person that was involved with the Infectious Records, that was a little bit more of the, how do I say, keep everything for us, not worry about the bands.
Right.
And that was, like I said, but that was another person that was on the Infectious Records crew. And I don't want to name out any names, but
Sure.
it was tough back then because we were going against each other, Big Q Productions and Infectious Records.
Right.
Who's going to book the next biggest show? Who's going to sell out the Bluebird Theater next? Who's going to get into the Gothic Theater first? I never was able to do a show at Whiskey Bill's
Mhm.
because of Bill Terrell. As much
Sure.
as I wanted to get into Whiskey Bill's and get on that side of town, I could never get into Whiskey Bill's because of
Okay.
Bill.
Okay. Then why don't you explain how you got into Isle of Park and a Bottoms Up? How did that happen?
So Bottoms Up was with Quick Fix Productions with Brett.
Okay.
He was my in. But see, a lot of this, I met a lot of these promoters, including Isle of Park Saloon, which was, oh boy, at the time, I think I was talking to Chachi.
Hmm.
You guys all
Yeah.
know Chachi.
Charging
And
from Isle of
Chachi was
Park? Sure
tired of
did.
booking. He was tired of booking Fridays and Saturday nights. And he says, "Hey, you want to know? I want to do a job." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do I want a job?" And he goes, "Well, I'm tired of booking Fridays and Saturday nights." And
Right.
I'm like, "So what do you want me to do?" Because I wasn't even that big yet. I didn't have any bands underneath my coat yet. I was
Sure.
still fairly new. And he says, "But I know you can do it." So I did it. I did a couple Fridays and Saturdays, and they were successful. But I wanted bigger and better, and I
Right.
felt like the bands deserved bigger and better, and
Sure.
that's why I went. That's why I went the Bluebird, the Gothic, and the Ogden route. I
Right.
felt like the bands have, the Ogden, the work playing a show at the Isle of Park Saloon was great, party time, great atmosphere, so on and so forth. The same thing with Bottoms Up Tavern, just a great party atmosphere. But when you're playing on that Gothic theater stage,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and
Nothing
you
like it.
and you see the bands up there doing their thing, and
Hmm.
it's just a feeling of overwhelm. It's the feeling I can't explain.
Right.
Whenever
Sure.
I was able to see a local band get up on a stage, whether it was my show or not my show,
Right.
whenever I saw a local band on these big stages, I'm like, dude, you guys made it. You
Right.
guys are
Sure.
here, you
Right.
know? And it's unfortunate because these bands, we have so much talent in today's age. We
Right.
can't get these bands onto these theater shows. We
No.
cannot get them into the theaters.
Right.
And if I could bring back Big Q Productions today and
Hmm.
be able to put these local metal musicians back on these stages, I would do it in a minute.
Right.
But
Okay.
it doesn't work like that anymore.
Right. Well, I'll just say that the era that we were in, Wayne, you were the only guy that could turn a bottoms up gig or an Isle of Park gig to a Bluebird or a Gothic or an Ogden. That was not possible in the 20th century. I don't think that happens now, but you were able to do that. That amazed me.
I appreciate that, Ty. That means a lot, man.
Right. Yeah.
It, the I know I know it seems like I did a lot, but a lot of the bands did a lot of the work as well. I mean,
Right.
I would say the bands busted their ass more for me than I just see. It's almost making me tear up, and I'm a metal dude. I shouldn't tear up, dude. But the bottom line is it was, I was personally invested in making sure that the bands were able to be on these shows,
Right. Sure.
and it was important to me.
Right.
Um, so that's why I get so emotional talking about it. I
Sure.
miss it.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. When I'm
Right.
53 years old, 2 fake knees, 2 fake shoulders, dude, I can got it in me. I can't even hit them. If I hit a mosh pot, I'm walking out of there looking like one of those stick figure dudes with
Walking.
my
Right.
hands, so it's just, but the bottom line is that, Big Q Productions, I really prided myself on making sure the bands were taken care of.
Right. And I
And,
can directly vouch for that. But I will just say,
it's,
right. I remember you calling me one time saying, Ty, I have to move your show. We were, Depth Charge was with Winds and Pain Echoes, who we played with at Deep Freeze Fest. Then let's see, Godless Promise Mechanism, us, One from None, and One from None. They're like, we got a movie from Bottoms Up to Ogden. I'm like, you fucking dick. You fucking dick. You're doing this to us. But it was great. That was one of the greatest things. But um, just on that note, but when it came to booking bands, Peter, when I wore hats at Pinky's, I got so fucking people telling me, we want second slot or we're not playing. And I'm like, you guys don't draw dick. And people would get
right.
pissed off at me saying that. How did you encounter that?
Well,
I had
a lot of it, to be honest with you, and it was the bands. They proved themselves.
right,
And on top of that, not only did they prove themselves, when it came time to having a cohesive show,
right,
majority of the bands didn't really care where they played on one
hmm
of my shows because they knew it was going to run flawlessly from the beginning to end. And
right,
that we were going to be able to make this thing work and people were going to stick around. Because the biggest thing, I know that everybody wanted second and third slot.
right,
Everybody always wants first and second and third slot.
right,
The best way for me to say that how I encountered that is just to let them know that if it's not third slot this show, there's many more shows to come, and I will get you on the third slot. And I always did. I always spread to my word. If I wasn't able to get you on the second slot this show, you know what? Next time we had freaking comp ticket shows, you were on a second slot for that show.
right.
You know, and I don't know if y'all remember, but those comp tickets sure did help us out a lot, man. Back in the day, we had some
Okay,
people coming.
right. No, the con tickets were insanely important. Now, okay, I'm trying to tell me about the money, like the
Okay.
Ogden Gothic Bluebird shows, the money, and I'll level with you. Depth Charge really wasn't concerned about the money. We just wanted to play a good show and sell merch.
Uh-huh.
We're to worry about that. You said you packed the house and you made $40. How did the
Yep.
comp tickets and all that? How did that factor in? You said you have the folders and the notebooks. Do spill. We've
Uh-huh.
never we've never seen any. We've never seen
So,
this.
so yeah, I mean, I could show you. I mean, I could pull one out right now. But the bottom line is what I did, especially with comp tickets. It was important for me to make sure that you, the band, were getting for every comp ticket that came in that door. Um, got the dollar or whatever it was that they were paying at the time. I think it was $1 at the time. And
Right,
before we were all said and done, it got up to $2 or something like that. I think I don't know. But the
right,
bottom line is that the comp tickets were every dollar of those comp tickets that came through for that band, they made that money.
right,
Okay. Everything that came in overhead, we still asked who you're here for, obviously. And
right,
that money we would have to split between the house and the bands.
right,
Now, I did not take taxes I didn't have any taxes until the last, let's go, because they weren't 1090 in me at the time.
right,
So it was all cash under the table. So that's how I was able just to give the money to the bands without having to worry about taxes.
right,
Nowadays, you have to take like the 22 or 28% off the top of the show because you're going to get paid, charged that for taxes.
right.
So, but I didn't have to worry about that, Ty, back in the day. So every
Okay.
dollar that came in, the only money that I would receive would, I don't know if you guys remember all the flyers, the posters, the
hmm
passes that I would make up for the shows, all that
Right,
stuff. I would take out, $60 or whatever it cost me to do that, I would take out that $60. The rest of it would go to the bands.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, so there was no, for me, I was working for a cable company at the time, so it
Right.
wasn't my number one job. So I wasn't worried about the money. The money, it wasn't for the money for me.
Right. Okay. Well, aside from Depth Charge being your favorite band to work with, what are some other bands that are in the Big Q Hall of Fame?
Let's pull this books. Let me pull these books out because I can name some bands off that you guys probably are like crazy. I have not heard that band. Let's see here. Golly. I only got one arm, so excuse me here. I'm gonna move this back a little bit. Let's go. Golly. So these shows, man, I'm telling you, X Saloon. So there was a band that I enjoyed working with was ASA back in the day.
Sister Suicide
That's the
Assembly?
Suicide Assembly. Now Chad was the biggest dick, but I still liked working with them. The rest of the bands were all right. Um, man, I have so many bands Hall of Fame. Anchor was on a Hall of Fame. The Mandrake. I'm sure you guys have heard the Mandrake. Obviously, let me go with my local boys here because Peace, Love, and Destruction, SOV, and Throw Cult, all you guys on the show here. I enjoyed the hell out of working with all you guys. Now it's hard for me to put you guys in a category, put any band in a category for that matter. So it's hard for me to say, this is going to be in a Hall of Fame because I thought all my bands were in Hall of Fames. I really
Right.
did, and I treated you guys like that. Internal Bleeding, they were another one. Fear the Vacuum, Scalafrea, Dirt Nap,
Hmm.
NDS, Nicaraguan Death Squad, Try
Mhm.
Redemption, Blue. I mean, there's just so many. Deadless, Ain
Mhm.
Matter. Ain Matter that's great. The two bass band.
Right.
Let's see, Bucket. Switchpin was another one to work with.
Mhm.
Um, well, I worked with the Mandrake quite a bit. I didn't realize I worked with Mandrake quite a bit.
Right.
There's Depth Charge at the Ogden Theater with One from None GPM.
Yep. That was a very, very vivid show for all sorts of other reasons, post show and all that jazz. But
So that was the
and,
crazy weekend because I had 3 theater shows that weekend. I
right.
had the Ogden show on Friday,
Mhm.
and then I had the Ogden and Gothic show on Saturday.
Right.
So I had
Yep.
Brain Pan, Synthetic Delusion, For the Dead, Malachi, and Product at the Ogden, and Skinned, Try Redemption, Scalafrea, Toward Flesh with Holly. Holy mackerel! At the Gothic. So those are the weekends that I lived for because
Right.
I had Nick. I'm sure you guys remember my buddy Nick, my little sidekick, my little sidekick Nick.
Everything
Now
froze.
he's got a beard the size of Texas.
Yeah.
But that was my buddy. You ever met Nick Bruning?
I never did. Well, if I
No?
don't remember him.
Yeah, we just seen him at a show a couple weeks ago.
Did you? Yeah. So
Yeah,
he
him and
was my
Addie.
sidekick. Yep, him and Natty.
Yeah,
He was he was my sidekick back then.
absolutely.
When I was not able to be at a theater show or even for that matter an Isle of Park show, he would show up and he'd be
Mhm.
there to get the show together for me.
Right.
So that was a good one there. Shoot, man. There's so many good shows, Ty.
Okay.
Apathy. There's another one. Apathy
Right.
from way back in the day.
Right.
Ransom.
All right.
Uh,
Let me cut to one big question I wanted to ask you.
okay.
What there were bands that were very grateful for you, and I'm kind of patting myself on the back, with you. There are some that weren't. What did you want to tell bands that simply say, hey, look, you don't have to, you don't have to, praise me or anything like that, but I wish they understood what you were doing to make things happen. Is there anything that you wanted to tell them, but you couldn't?
You know, I don't if I'm trying to figure out if there was ever a band that I dealt with.
Mhm.
Yes, there was, but I can't remember their name, and it was at the Ogden Theater,
Right.
and they brought 2 comp tickets and wanted
Right.
$100. But basically the conversation that was had with them was, look, if you want that kind of money, you've got to prove it. And you've got to be able
Right.
to bring the people.
And
And you
they didn't
didn't
want
bring
to,
the people.
and yeah,
You know, no,
they
no,
didn't want to prove it.
yeah, and no matter how good of a band you think you are, you if I didn't, you were obviously good enough to be on the show. because I asked you to be there, right?
Right.
But you can't be bigger than you are.
Right.
And that's what they wanted to be. They wanted to be bigger than who they were.
Right.
Gosh, I wish I knew the name of them. But anyways, yeah, they hated me to hell. They,
Right.
I remember they tried to get on not Facebook. Sorry, it was MySpace back then.
Right.
Tried to get all over MySpace and talk shit about me and all that good stuff. And it's just basically, I treated people the way that I was treated, and most of the time, 95% of the time, everybody treated each other well. That's just. You had that 5% that people just don't, they don't want to understand what we're here for the greater good. The greater good for me was to put these bands on these big stages.
Right. On that note, does anyone here have a question or a comment for Wayne? And if you don't, you don't. That's cool. But just simply say it's like, Wayne, basically what we're going to do is that we are going to shift to Throw Culture Magazine. So feel free, have a good time, listen in, ask questions. But now it's time to bug Rod.
Nice.
All right, Rod. All right, Rod, unmute, dude. Okay. Throat Culture Magazine. We kind of know your history. You started off with a little two-pager. Here's my big question for Rod. Wanted to capture. When the internet came out and you eventually did throwculture.net, when did you think print media was going to go away, and did that factor you in ending the magazine?
To be honest, to be honest, I think it was probably 2004 that I thought maybe the magazine stuff would go away, but
Right.
internet still in 2004 wasn't that big. I don't
Right.
think. I mean, it was, but I think print was still big at the time.
Right.
So by the time I quit the magazine, it wasn't really an issue for me.
Right. Okay. Talking about the economics and Peace, Love, and Destruction, you guys advertised in every Throw Culture magazine. How much did that run you guys?
Don't remember.
Depending on which ad it was.
Yeah, was it a quarter page or a half full page or?
I think you guys
No.
had like back page sometimes.
Yeah, we definitely
No,
put some money into
we did a lot of
Culture.
full page ads.
Yeah.
I remember that. It seems like it was like $100 or something. I don't quite remember. I know we did a centerfold too, and that was pretty spendy.
That's right. Yeah.
I never tell anybody we had to pay for that. I brag about just getting that.
That's great.
Yeah, Plaid helped us out a lot.
We were always involved with you guys, weren't we? Yeah, we love Throw Culture Magazine and Rod.
Right.
We recognized it for the vehicle that it was.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing that we all deserved and none of us had, and Rod brought it to us. Fucking A.
Right. Okay. Just saying, Rod, all right, in the first place, what made you want to do it?
So the metal scene in '97-ish wasn't great in the Denver scene. So I just had this idea to start a little newsletter talking about our band, Throw Culture, and also interviewing bands. We had just became friends with Clemesis at the time. So I was like, why don't we do a little interview with Clemesis, which is like literally a half a page interview. And then, anyways, that's how it started. And to be honest with me, everybody but my guitarist thought it was the dumbest idea in the world.
Really?
My guitarist, Jimmy, was like, yeah, he was into Microsoft Word. So he helped start the magazine and get going. So
doing that, then you found Nick. Nick, what?
Who?
You ended up almost getting two jobs, being Throw Culture's guitar player and doing their design. How did that come about?
With me?
Yes, with you.
The dude, you remember the band Los?
Oh yeah, Los.
Do you remember what was the other band? That dude Ivan that sings in Five Finger Death Punch.
Hallucination.
Hallucination. Yeah, okay. So that dude, his guitarist, like gave me a guitar, and because I played and stuff, but I didn't have a guitar at the time. I met him. And then I was looking for a band. I don't remember how exactly I connected with Rod and Chris, but eventually we hooked up somehow. I tried out the band, and here we are, right? Like, it was just like a really meant to be happen or meant to be moment.
Yeah,
Right.
not only was he a killer guitarist, but he turned out to be a graphic designer.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And so the first issue he did was Slipknot on the cover,
Right.
and that just took the magazine to a different level,
Right.
Nick's design.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was gonna say, like, Rod and I would sit hours, like night after night after night, smoking, drinking, just making this magazine. Every time. How often do we put this out?
Whatever.
It was
3, 4,
but
5 months.
It was definitely a lot of work. But I mean, it paid off. It was so much fun. It was crazy.
Right. Okay. Now, you guys, in terms of deadlines and staff, how many people did you have working for this at its peak, and how many capacity? How many people?
It's like me and Rod. And like
You and Rod. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Murray, Scott.
Um,
This is when you guys get on. You guys got. This is why you're here.
Murray was a huge writer.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody was. So there was like 20 people writing for the magazine for free. For what? For free CDs.
Oh,
How cool was that?
Oh, it was
That was
cool.
cool.
Was the greatest.
That was great.
I love to write, so it was right up my alley. I didn't do it for the CDs. I actually like to write, and it was fun reviewing CDs, and I had a couple of interviews with bands, but um the thing is, though, I didn't use my name. My pen name was Louis the Monk.
Right.
Oh yeah,
That was you?
Yeah, well,
Nice.
yeah, but what was funny about it is like years later, I don't know, maybe like 15 years, no, not maybe like 10 years after the magazine, Patrick Russell, Cerberus and Silencer bassist, who's talking? um he didn't even know that was me. And when I told him that, he freaked out. It's like, I always wondered who that was. I don't even know why I had a pen name. Oh, yeah, because I guess if you don't I don't know, you have a little more freedom as a writer if you don't already have an established identity. So I think that's why I did it, to try to be I don't know, a little more objective, which I wasn't. I mean, it was still just my opinion,
Right.
my personal taste, but I think that's why I did that.
Right. Okay. All right. Up here, right here, it's a blurry background. Maybe I should just change that. Hang on. I'm going to reveal some history here. Here we go. This is.
We're gonna walk out.
oh yeah.
How Like a Winner. This is Scott's very first interview. How Like a Winner.
Was that the guys from Italy or
Italy?
France?
Yeah, that was your very first interview. And the
Those
same
guys are
issue,
really cool.
S of A.
How about
Nice.
that?
Nice. Oh yeah.
Okay,
I remember that.
remember that. Okay, well, I'm going to remember this quote here. Having to be twice more and being 30 years, I'd get rid of Scott.
Savage.
It was like, God, you two loved each other. So, anyways, Nick went out to have a cigarette. So, Scott, you just, you were a well-respected band in the circuit, and you just found your way to Throw Culture magazine. Was it just a DAB thing? How'd you roll into that?
Shit, now that you mention it, yeah, I probably had some underpinnings there at the DAV because I mean we rehearsed right down the hall from each other, but I'd kind of, even before the S of A days, when I'd come down to hang out with Rogue or Tread or whatever, I'd always pop in and talk to those guys. And wasn't what was the other band Brian was in for a while? Wasn't he in another metal band or a industrial kind of band?
Which Brian?
Which
from
yeah,
Throw Cult. From Throw Cult.
Which Ryan? I'm sorry.
Oh, Brian
Brian.
Fisher?
Yeah, did
Yeah, he
well,
was a
Ryan
keyboardist,
Fisher, yeah,
wasn't
he was in Nick Rogers Death Squad, wasn't he?
He was a keyboardist.
okay, that's
yeah,
why.
NDS.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he's
recognized
cool.
that name, and I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
"Holy shit, Brian was in that band." Now that I think
Yeah.
about it,
he? Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no. To get back to what was the original question? Sorry, I kind of looped off.
No, that's all right. No,
Oh,
it's
how I
just
got
like
involved with
what?
throw
Yeah, how
culture.
you got involved in that?
Well, I know Rod and Nick were doing their thing with the magazine, and so for me, it was always I thought it was a cool thing what they were doing, and fuck, man, I just wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, dude, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever.
Right.
I remember Rod going, man, we've got people lined up for days, and half of them won't respond, and this and that. And I was like, I will fucking respond. You give me something to do, and I will fucking do it. So yeah, he threw me some stuff, and I did some CD reviews, I did some interviews, but unlike Murray, I'm not very good at writing, and I did not know what the fuck I was doing, but I always had fun with it, and Rod always seemed responsive when I turned stuff in. So until it just kind of faded into the ether up, I was more than happy to contribute.
Right. I want to give the Fox brothers a lot of credit. They're not with us on this archive, but there is no question their contribution to that magazine was substantial. But Rod,
And the scene too, really.
Yep, they did. They did a lot of service to the scene. But I will just say this. I want to ask Rod and Nick this. What was your relationship with the Fox brothers? How did that all incorporate?
I met them at some show, which is now the HQ. I don't know what it was back then, but what I used to do when people would give me ad money for the magazine, I would just stick the money in my pocket and buy beer with it. And so Boyd saw me doing that, and he's like, "Dude, you can't be doing that if you want this to, get going." So Boyd became the financial guy, and he found the printer to make it to where it was glossy. I used to just do it at Kinko's. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And so we used to go to Kinko's, but then once Boyd joined, he did everything. He got all the label ads. He would contact all you bands. Boyd helped out a lot, and Brent did the website too. Brent was always busy with his day job, but
right.
Boyd,
Yeah, they were a huge influence with us and helped in so many ways back in the day.
So what Boyd would do is he would get a loan from his boss to print the magazine, and then all the ad money would come in and pay back his boss. It was Boyd helped out a lot, big time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he no
the
doubt
quality
did
of the
that.
magazine sure jumped up from that point. It
Yeah,
really did,
very.
man. You guys really stepped it up after that. That
Right.
was amazing.
Nick and
Now-
Boyd joined at the same time. So
Right. Now, also, you guys started not just being in Denver, you started coming over around the country and around the world. How did that come about, Rod?
Boyd got us on, found a couple of distributors.
Right.
The only one that we were around the world with was Tower Records. So
Okay.
that was cool. But
And
other than that, we were in like every magazine store and record store maybe. So just because Boyd found distributors.
Right. Did you guys ever break even?
That's probably all we did.
Right.
Maybe broke even.
Hey,
Right.
Ty,
Yeah.
can I share a quick story with him about
If
my
it's
throat
if it's
culture
the
stuff?
if it's the one you think I am at Tower Records, yes. Go
Yeah.
for it.
All right, check this out, brother. I was in Tower Records in California, just fucking around one day. I don't know why I was out there for a wedding or something, and I saw this hot chick. She was looking at a magazine. I looked over her shoulder, and it was the Throat Culture magazine that we were in, the full color one with our centerfold. And I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, you want to see something really cool?" She said, "Sure." And I opened it to the centerfold and I said, "Check it out." And she looked at that. And she looked at me and said, "Holy shit, that's you." I said, "Yeah, it is." She said, "Will you sign this for me?" I signed it for her right there at Tower Records. I could not believe. I was bragging to everybody in the store. "Hey, look, this is my buddy's magazine. We're worldwide, brother." It was awesome. One of my favorite
That's
memories.
a great story.
Right. I had to share that with you. Thanks, Ty.
Of course. But okay, I'm gonna jump into another section. I think it was complete and total bullshit. Anyone went against it. The Throw Culture Babes. What the fuck was wrong with
Oh
it?
God,
What was wrong with it? Anyone
dude,
protesting? You know,
those are like
that's not exploitation. Child porn is exploitation. Seeing Shannon Crosby or Cherie or any of those
trust
girls in lingerie is
trust
not
me.
porn. What the fuck was going on with that? Explain. How did
Trust
you
me. We
not
wanted to
kill
keep
anyone?
going with that.
I don't know.
It was like
I don't know. Unfortunately, I had a problem with girls. So yeah, and we had. I don't know if you guys remember Latifah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah, coolest girl in the still coolest girl
Way
in the world.
cool. Way cool.
He, after once the magazine started getting glossy and stuff like that, Latifah helped us out getting girls and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know.
thank
Hey,
you so
I
much.
might be able to help. It just people need to keep in perspective that the magazine was an extension of you and the band. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I know it started to get a little bigger than that after a while, but it was still, and that would explain why the girls were in there,
right.
right?
I liked girls, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I liked girls. Yeah,
yeah. It was fun while it lasted.
it
Right.
was. It was.
But
Rod,
I
it's
think
just,
we
I
were. I
just
think it was like one of those things. It's like we were trying to like really make it successful with the. Oh my gosh, I dropped everything. Thank you. I mean, I think we were trying to like think of it in another realm. Like, oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe Rod can fill this in, but it was like we probably start steering away from that because we were trying to get more pro, like bring it to a national level, and like we thought like maybe that wouldn't go over that well. However, we really liked it, and then we were like even considering like a Babes
Separate
magazine
magazine.
down, and that would have been like that could have gone. Who knows how far that could have gone? Like Metal Girls or something like that. But
well, you had an episode, an issue that came out with just the Babes of Throw Call, right, or something. I forget.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
got all my
Yeah.
stuff out of storage. I just found like 30 copies of that, dude, in my stash. Shit
And
me
you
oh,
not.
got the Bay magazine.
Yes, I got like 30 copies.
Wasn't many
Most,
copies of that.
I got most of them, I think. I'm
Hey,
gonna put that shit on eBay, buddy.
who
It's true.
remembers
Yeah.
who remembers the interviews with Rod's ex-girlfriends?
yes, there's one in here.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Talk about narcissism. I wanted
Yeah,
to
here's
find out
one.
what these girls thought about me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Rod's
So good.
ex-girlfriends. You know, it's like, Rod, you beat yourself up too much, dude. You just, it's like, come on, Rod. God, you've done some amazing shit.
That's
So,
my personality.
right,
Thank you.
right. But
We're outside. We're gonna walk inside, but we're still listening. Okay.
yeah, I know. No, that's cool. That's cool. But I was gonna say, it's like, um, how many, how many CDs did you get from labels at your peak, sending them to you and asking to be reviewed? What was it at its peak?
can you say that one more time?
Okay. You know, labels and bands would send you CDs to review, and how many? What was at the peak time? How many CDs did you get in
So
like in
like
a given month's time?
fans that would like send in to get.
Are you talking like local bands or all bands?
Local, national, world, all of it.
Back then, there wasn't a lot of local bands that had CDs, which was crazy.
Right.
We got a few here and there, but
What years were
we had
that? What years was that?
what's that?
What
I'm sorry.
What years did they not have CDs? Was that back in the 90s?
Well, it started in '97. I ended
Okay.
in 2004.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I was just wondering, just curious.
well, we did a couple of issues with local bands sending in a song. Do you guys remember that? So we
Mhm.
put out 2 issues with
Yeah.
just nothing but local bands, pretty
Yep.
much,
Mhm.
on a CD that came with the magazine.
Yeah,
But as far as
We're on one or
magazine,
two of those. Yeah, I love those.
yeah,
Those
you are. Yeah.
compilation CDs. Hell yeah,
You guys had to pay to be on those, which was
that's
Boyd's
right.
idea. But
Right. Right.
And we
um,
threw money at you for it. We didn't care.
I think what Ty wants to know is like what's the most number of CDs you got in one month?
Right. Thank you,
Like
Murray. Yeah.
100.
100?
easily.
100?
Nice.
We had a PO box, and I would go there daily and get at least 5, 10 CDs every day. It was
Wow.
crazy. And I would listen to every one of them and like, nope, I don't like it. Let me give it to Murray or Scott, you know?
Right.
So
Okay. So the truth comes out. Rod picked what he wanted and just gave everyone else. So
I
congratulations,
did.
Scott. You took out the trash.
I tell you what, I welcome that trash because one of the Clutch CDs that I ended up reviewing, I think it was live at the Gogoplex. I've seen those guys more times live than any other band in history. I love those guys. They're all fucking great dudes, and their music just fucking rips my fucking head off. So I've always thanked you deep down for that, Rod. I still have that disc in my dresser.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what I would do is I would get, let's just say Emperor or something like that. I'd get an Emperor CD. I'm like, well, I know Patrick Russell likes Emperor, so I'll give it to him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like that. So since there was like 20 people writing for the magazine, I would kind of know what kind of music they'd be into.
Right.
And Murray would come up with bands that I never even had a CD for and write for that. Do you remember that, Murray? I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
think of any examples, but
Yeah, I can't
Right.
either. It's too long ago, but yeah.
I would literally get 100 CDs a month easily. And after I quit the magazine, Boyd wanted to continue on with the magazine with a different name.
Right.
So he was still getting all these CDs in and giving it out to all these other people. I'm like, dude, give me some CDs. But he wouldn't give me any of the CDs because I quit the magazine. So
Right.
anyway,
Okay, that leads me to my next question. What is it a coincidence that Keith Spargo got all the Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Motorhead reviews and interviews?
so it's crazy. I got this cool little, it wasn't a box set, but it was some kind of weird promotion Iron Maiden thing. It was the coolest thing. It'd be worth a lot of money now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to keep this, but I got to pay it for it. So I gave it to Keith to review. I don't remember what it was like. Rarities, Iron Maiden, or something like that.
Right.
I guarantee that thing's worth thousands of dollars now.
Yeah,
Right.
you're probably right, dude.
Or collectible. So, the question that I aim this towards Nick. With the technology that was there then, what did you wish we have now that we didn't have then, in terms of, technology, software, or anything?
Well, yeah, back in the day, it was more. I was working in, I think it was Adobe InDesign.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it started in the magazine in Quark Express, which was
Mm-hmm.
old school. Yeah. So, but then yeah, I moved into Adobe. Nowadays, I mean, I guess it was just more organic. I mean, I pretty much learned how to do layouts and stuff because I worked in printing anyway, so it kind of like really worked out. I was already in design, so everything kind of worked out in that way. Could it have been done faster nowadays? Sure. I mean, but I was kind of just beginning then anyway, too. So it all kind of aligned as it should be, for the time. Could it be easier now? Absolutely. With everything we have and now my skill
Right.
sets.
Would
But
AI have a would AI have a place in this? If you could, if
I
AI,
mean, I mean, like they make us like work with AI constantly in my work constantly now. So there is benefits to AI. It's as far as like writing and stuff, but I don't really think art or design or layouts. I mean, you can get ideas from it, but
right,
it's still you're gonna lose out on that organic kind of creation if you
right,
just lay into AI too much.
right,
But I mean, there is pros and cons to it. I
right,
use it daily for various things, but
right.
I don't know. The timing was right, man. I mean, it was just it is what it was, and we were pushing it hard, and I was pushing pixels all night and day for like day after day.
Right. Wow. Okay. So I just one of the things I wanted to conclude. Does anyone have a question or a comment for Rod? Or because personally, I just want to say, Rod, in addition to Bill Terrell, Thrill Culture magazine pushed the scene better and better. You don't give yourself enough credit for it, but I will. Rod, you made a difference.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
did.
But I also got to say, bands
Look,
like Full Circle, SOB, Drudgery, Plaid, they're the ones that also made the scene. You know what I'm saying? So throw
Sure.
culture sure helped. It helped us
Mm.
as a band, but it also helped the scene. But it was because we had killer bands like you guys, you know,
Right.
that helped the
Thank
scene.
you.
So it wasn't just the magazine, but I do appreciate that.
Right.
Hey,
But
I mean, we had a lot of good bands back then.
right.
A
You
lot of
did.
good bands.
I also want to thank Nick. Nick is, one of my favorite people in the circuit, but he also made all my band flyers. When I did my comedy shtick, he came to all of them. He made, he did all my flyers and all that, laughed at all my goofy shit, and saying, Nick, you meant a lot to me. Still do. That
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Likewise, dude. And everybody here, it's just really good to see everybody.
Good to
That's
see
cool
you,
what you're
brother.
doing.
right.
Yeah, I got to wake up at 3:45 tomorrow for
Right.
work.
Hey,
Right.
Rod.
That's why I got to make this
Hey,
quick.
hey, one last thing from Wayne. Wayne's up to a music collection project, and after that, then we'll open things up to anything he wants to talk about. Wayne, go.
So
I'm staying tight.
I've got CDs. I've probably got close to 300 CDs
Rod, don't
from
hang up
local
yet.
bands, bands that
From
have
local
given me their
bands.
CD to say, hey, can you listen to me and put me on a show? I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to compile all these CDs. Now, back then, we didn't have the read to write. Like we could, you put a CD in, it tells you what the song is and what the name of the band is and all that stuff. So it's going to be kind of difficult for some of those CDs. But I just want to make everybody aware that I'm trying to work on this project and that I might be reaching out to you for some expertise when it comes to some of these other bands that I've got. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I've got bands that probably played 2 shows in Denver, but I've got their demo disc. It's just crazy like that. So, but that's what my plan is. I mean, it's probably close to 250 to 300 different discs. So that's why I asked the question I did, Rob, was about, when were you not receiving discs? Because, man, every time I turned around, I had people giving me discs. Dude, listen to my band, listen to my band, listen to my band, and I loved it. It felt great hearing, people asking me for my opinion on their band. It felt great, but I just got a ton of it, and I want to put it all in one place. And I think that for something like what Ty is doing right here, it's a great place for it, So everybody can go in and say, look at this band Gematria. Let's just use Gematria for that matter. I remember that one. I mean, who would have thought, where Gematria is at now, and they're nowhere. But back then they were, freaking killing it on the scene. Who knows? They really maybe weren't. I'm just using them for an example. Not like Throw Culture. Throw Culture was killing it on the scene. SOV was killing it on the scene. Plaid was killing it on the scene. You guys were freaking playing all over the place and putting your name out there, doing it the right way. But as far as this discs, I might be reaching out to you guys, just so you know, when it comes to these discs that I've got. And it might just be, hey, just to bounce this name and this band off your shoulders and say, hey, do you remember this band? Is this band, whatever it may be. But I would like to get some input from you guys for these 250, 300 CDs that I kept.
Nice.
Cool.
Good. So on that note, I'm going to go and shut off the recording.
Hey, wait. I want to say something to Rod. Hey, Rod.
Go ahead.
Throat Culture, man. That magazine, he came out at the right time. Man, I don't even know what to say. I'm tearing up over here. Seriously, we had such a vibrant scene with so many great bands and so many. Denver could have been the next big metal explosion, and you guys gave us an outlet for that. And not just that, it is a tangible visual of what we had done at the time. Let me tell you, I still have copies of Throw Cult magazine. I have some pristine copies of the full color with our centerfold, but I got some that are just threadbare and worn because I show that shit to everybody. That, oh, you used to be in a band? Well, no, I was in a band.
Well, remember,
You know what I'm saying?
remember,
Yeah.
What's that?
remember Edsel wanted your copy.
Oh yeah. Our first one where you interviewed us and Dope was on the cover. We finally got to play with Dope at the Bluebird, and I had Edsel sign it for me. And he's like, "Hey man, I don't have this copy. Can I have it?" I said, "Edsel, I'm sorry. I need you to autograph it, and this is mine." Because they were on the cover and we were interviewed in it, and our name was on the cover with them. I'm like, "Sorry, buddy, this is mine."
That's fine.
That was pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
It was very cool.
Forgot
I did
about
end up,
Dope.
I know, right? I did end up finding some more versions of it, some copies of it. So I'm going to try to actually send him one. But the autograph copy, that's mine.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say thanks, man. That really was an awesome thing you guys did.
I appreciate that. Seriously, thank you.
Oh, also
I
one
agree,
other thing,
man.
one other thing before we wrap. our next one on January 3rd, Andrea Thomas will be joining us.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So
That's
you
good to
don't want
me.
to miss that.
Nice.
Yeah, some people got sick and called off late, but guys, this was great. And